Okay, welcome everyone. We appreciate everyone being on the call on our Tuesday night Dr. Rouse call. Tonight's call is actually part of the series we were doing on Fucoidan. And that series, this is a series number 2 in that series on the Fucoidan and medical studies dealing with Fucoidan. And we have a very, very exciting call tonight in this second series on cardiovascular health, on heart health. And we appreciate everybody being on the call tonight. And it should be a fantastic call on what Fucoidan can do for our heart. And if you have not looked up Fucoidan, and if you don't know how to spell that, that is spelled Fucoidan. You need to go to pubmed.com or .org. That's pubmed, pubmed.org or .com, and look up Fucoidan. There are over 850 clinical medical studies on Fucoidan. It's one of the most amazing ingredients to come along, and it can absolutely change your life. So tonight, again, the second series on Fucoidan medical studies dealing with heart health, dealing with cardiovascular health. And I'd like to introduce our medical advisor for Xperia tonight on the call, and let him take this call over. Dr. Rouse, are you with us?
Dr. Rouse is in the house. Good evening, Jack.
Good evening.
Good evening to all.
Great. Glad to have you, Dr. Rouse, and got some exciting things. And what we'll be doing tonight, if you're on Xperia, on the Meeting website, we'll have two of those medical studies. There's many on heart health, but we'll have 2 of those medical studies posted up for you to look at and read. Can get a little complicated, but Dr. Rouse is kind of going to explain what they really mean to us tonight. So, Dr. Rouse, I'll turn it over to you.
Here goes Jack again. He always gives us those complicated subjects, doesn't he? Cardiovascular health. We don't have to say a whole lot because everybody knows cardiovascular health is very important. And did you know that with the research that's coming down the pike, and it's looking good, and it's in our favor, that they are absolutely finding completely safe, non-surgical, painless, natural ways to prevent heart disease. And you know, when the doctor tells us to walk a little bit, change our diet a lot, do not smoke, they have a reason for that. We know without a doubt that whenever things get in the blood gets too thick, the blood gets too sticky, the blood starts forming and aggregating, and the next thing you know, everything gets stiff. The 70,000 miles of blood vessels get clogged up like a log jam in the river. And whenever that happens, then all the debris that's flowing, all the sticky stuff that's coming, it starts fusing together. And when those things fuse together like cement, they call it plaque. So we're finding out, sure enough, with good nutrition, and I mean G-O-O-D, good nutrition, there are formulas that are just being utilized to go in there and therapeutically make the blood vessels and the blood cleaner and healthier. I've actually looked at drops of blood, live blood, taken immediately from the human body to a microscope, dark field microscope with new technology, high lenses, good viewing through a computer system, and it's absolutely amazing to sit down and watch somebody's blood. It runs like molasses. You can see the uric acid in there. You can see the dead cells. You can see the parasites. You can see the things that are accumulating. And then you give them a good dose, a good healthy dose of Fucoidan. 1 hour later, you take another look, and it's like, whoa, this isn't the same human body, is it? but it absolutely is. It's just totally amazing to see how the blood starts getting cleaner, healthier, more wholesome. So what's happened? What is these PubMed studies saying? What are these doctors, what are these MDs getting so excited about? Well, the sulfur molecule that is so richly ingrained in the fucoidan is purifying the blood, and they're neatly watching it. It has an anticoagulant effect. It means that it's not going to let the blood form blood clots. But even better than that, they found that the sulfated fucoidan has the ability to be antithrombotic. That means that if there was something already building up, that it knows how to go in there and start breaking it down. But the body is so unique, it can't just break it down and leave a clot, let it run to the brain or the lung or the heart, because that would cause a stroke or a heart attack or a pulmonary embolism. It is neat in that fucoidan, sulfated fucoidan, one of the 5 definite species that we have in our product, is showing the power of breaking down existing accumulations in the blood vessel. So we're moving through some real studies here. And are they going to one day term fucoidan a natural oral chelation therapy? Probably so. Right now, the research is just overwhelming. Right now, many physicians have become ecstatic because of the cardiovascular properties. What are we saying? We're saying that sulfated fucoidan, safe, non-toxic, side effect free, and yet when you work on the smooth muscle cells, the part that is always hardening, the smooth muscle cells in the arteries, the arterial walls, when they're less chance of becoming inflamed, whenever the oxidation of things like cholesterol are inhibited, so we don't have oxidized cholesterol that is sticky. When all these things come into play, we now have a process that is making healthier arteries. That means that hardening of the arteries is less likely. We don't want that garden hose that's left out in the yard through the winter to be used as our major hose buoy in our springtime watering of the grass, because we know that the oxidation and the hardening of that garden hose out in the weather of the winter deteriorates and slows down the mechanism of action of the hose in the spring. So if we had a flexible new hose, something that is better to be utilized, then things begin to happen. So in this particular cell biology nutritional sulfated polysaccharide, the fucoidan, that they did the research on, they were finding that it literally enhances heart health. And it's the part of the blood vessel we're talking about is called the endothelial cell. That's where circulatory problems happen. Anytime the endothelial, the soft part of the hose, anytime that part of the structure starts breaking down, then the body tries to fill it in. And the cement that the body fills it in with makes the artery too hard. That's called arteriosclerosis, atherosclerosis. The word sclerotic means hardening. And a hardening of an artery is not a good thing. We need to be flexible. See, if your blood vessel is hardened, and then when you do have fluctuations in blood pressure, from rising up the stairs, from getting up out of a chair, from running fast, slowing down, blood pressure is going to fluctuate. It goes up and down automatically. But if your blood vessels are not willing to give and to take and to be soft and pliable and flexible, that's when major catastrophic strokes, heart attacks, things like that happen. So count on it. Sulfated fucoidan, according to these two double-blind medical studies, are showing that they are actually helping the circulation, better arterial circulation, better blood flow. And when you look at it, when you read something like anti-mitogenic, what in the world does that mean, Dr. Charlie? That means that fucoidan prevents age-related changes in the endothelial, in the artery function. And that means that it's going to do what it needs to do on the good side. You see, now the blood vessels can respond to blood pressure changes. Now we're even seeing fucoidan capable of reducing cholesterol levels and lowering the lipid oxidation, which now diminishes the chances of inflammation. Can you believe it? Inside your arteries, there's inflammation, C-reactive protein, homocysteine, cholesterol that's been highly oxidized. And if your blood vessel gets inflamed, then your immune system has to go down there and work on that, put the fire out, leaving you more vulnerable to other parts of the body getting broken down. So it is a cyclic scenario. But isn't it good to see good research that says sulfated fucoidan lessens arterial plaque? It stymies cellular aging. It's a neat anti-aging nutrition. And anytime you can go in there and make sure that the blood's flowing, automatically you're going to have more oxygen. And anytime you get oxygen to that major organ of the body called the heart and that major organ of the body called the brain, then you're going to have a good, healthy, wholesome portion of life, because we know that the heart muscle and the brain must have exceedingly large amounts of energy and oxygen. So we're looking at nutrition that has abilities to shield itself from breakdown. And we're looking at newer ways to truly be chelating agents. It not only prevents it from getting stuck, but it has a nutritional way of going in there and reversing it. That's what those two papers are all about that you just put up on the slides tonight. It's talking about reversing arterial damaging. It's talking about stopping heart disease naturally. I think that's real good news. I think that what we have seen in the past decade is so encouraging. And what is happening now, we have cardiologists all over the world, cardiologists, heart specialists, who are leaning toward the preventative side of medicine, prevention. And one aspect of prevention is not only the best of the best in diet. Yes, I encourage you to eat fruits and vegetables. But when you get a scoop of a sulfated fucoidan, it's like getting the perfect fruits and vegetables. It's like getting the mega fruits and vegetables. And we look at it from a cardiology perspective, we realize that, goodness gracious, people who are on good nutrition, people that have used sulfated fucoidan for years now, when they go back and they start looking at the inflammatory markers, they measure their C-reactive protein, they measure their LDL, their VLDL, and those things are diminished down, homocysteine levels down. HDL, the good stuff, right on up. So how is it that something can let good cholesterol go up, but at the same time, bad cholesterol gets knocked down. That's a God thing. Only God can make the berries. Only God can make the fruit. Only God can make the vegetables. And only God can make what he puts in the stem of a fucoidan in the pristine, pure, cold waters. So cardiovascular disease and cancer are ranked as the top 2 leading causes of death in the United States and in most industrialized nations. And the significant thing is that if we don't get to prevention, if we don't call the mark for prevention, if we don't start taking action in prevention, there's not enough bypass surgeries, there's not enough stents, there's not enough ways to go at fixing the problem. Prevention is the key. Sulfated fucoidan is a neat nutrition. The fact that it is anti-clotting, anti-thrombotic, and when it gives the wholesomeness back to the heart, then yes, it's going at the root cause, not the symptom. Fucoidan. And it's all right there on just two of hundreds of simple research papers. Fucoidan. I know me, myself, and I personally take fucoidan every single day. And the reason? Because I know the medical science. I'm a pharmacologist who specializes in pharmacognosy, which means medicine by the herb. And as a pharmacognosist, I look at things through a pharmacology perspective, and most of the things are hype. Most of the things are junk. But when you look at something with that kind of research, it draws the scientist to the root cause. Fucoidan, a great way to look after your heart. And that's the rest of the story, Jack.
Well, Dr. Rouse, I know that, as we always say on all our calls, we are not talking about any products that are curing or preventing diseases. We're just talking about a natural ingredient, fucoidan, and I know that you and I both had looked at all these studies, and as far as the working with someone that already has something like heart disease or plaque buildup, I think all these studies were used. They were using 800 to 1,000 milligrams for someone in that situation. But as far as someone that wants to just be preventative, is the 400 to 600 milligrams per day in divided doses, is that pretty good? And you think that will help if someone takes that for quite a few years, 4, 5, 6, 10 years, continues taking that until they get older?
Perfect choice. 2 scoops twice a day. Earlier we start them, teenagers and up. That's what is going to happen in the world of medicine when we start nutritionizing young kids to bring them up into the right perspective. We've already seen what we do to them with the standard American diet. We're killing our kids. Mm-hmm. Yeah, you're right. 2 scoops twice a day, great prevention.
Okay, that will be a great prevention. And again, all the studies were dealing with 800 to 1,000 milligrams on actually reversing plaque buildup, various things like that. So take note of that. I know we had a few questions too that Paul and Sonia were asking. Had a sister with a leak in her heart. What's something good nutrition for a leak in the heart?
Any time that you make a blood vessel healthier, an oxygen exchange more proficient, the food nutrition of OPC Plus, of His Life, of Aloe Red, you'd literally have to eat 2 pounds of broccoli every day. You'd have to eat a bunch of squash, onions, okra, all that stuff. You'd have to have pounds of that stuff to get what's in 1 scoop of our stuff. So it's a good way to go. Good nutrition.
Good. And someone, is this safe for someone with AFib? Annie was wanting to know that, Annie and Rick.
Sure. And look how many times AFib patients, they're medicated, fine. Mm-hmm. And good food, what better food could you ever think of? Fucoidan would be. Or are we saying that it's safe? Yes, it's safe for people with irregular heartbeats. Okay. Sure. Fucoidan is okay to take.
Okay, and again, you said a great combination would be the OPCs and also the Fucoidan together.
The two together are definitely blood vessel enhancing. OPCs, muscadine grapes, purple grapes, all those grapes have been highly researched. Me personally, I have had the privilege of being in part of the discussion team with cardiologists, cardiology pharmacologists, people who study nothing, their whole life is nothing but the heart. And at the table, at a round table discussion with some of the world's most educated cardiology PhDs, they were all thumbs up on the OPC molecule. I can't wait to introduce Fucoidan to some of these cardiologists.
Absolutely. And many studies are out there now about, you as the years of growing up, and I'm 56, growing up I heard about mainly heart attacks were men, mainly happen with men, whether stress or whatever. But now a lot of studies are now it's as many heart attacks in women. Is that correct?
That is correct. And unfortunately, the incidence is of their heart attacks, most of those are on the very debilitating or even death side. It's like when they have a myocardial infarction, that tissue of their heart dies so quickly. It's imperative that preventative care, and I'm talking about sufficient rest, good diet, stop smoking, good eating, good nutrition. That's all part of the good health plan.
Right. So again, every woman on this line, any woman that you know, they need Fucoidan in their life. I know that Karen was asking a question about a daughter-in-law having trouble maintaining potassium during pregnancy. I'm assuming she should go back to, I'm assuming she's taking her vitamins, but possibly go back to her doctor with that. And would any of these products help with that? Does she need a lot more potassium?
Probably not. Probably the potassium in the Is Life, the OPC and the Aloe Red, that's fruit nutrition, vegetable nutrition, and that potassium, unlike potassium chloride, is non-toxic. That's highly absorbable. And when you deal in that potassium, the body can absorb and assimilate. By the way, the human body is created by God to run off of 5 parts of potassium to every 1 part of sodium salt. But on an average day, if people salt their eggs and salt their salad and salt everything heavily, then you've got to orchestrate a high potassium diet. Otherwise, most people in an American diet are 2 parts potassium to 1 measly part 2 parts sodium to 1 measly part potassium. And you're designed by God to run off of 5 parts potassium to every 1 part of sodium. That's the reason we statistically are high in blood pressure, high in cardiovascular collapse. We are out of mineral sink, and the synergy of the minerals are in the OPC, the Aloe Red, the Is Greens. The greens are fantastic with potassium, and certainly the sulfated Fucoidan.
Well, good. Well, this is one more question, and we'll end with this question. This is a little off topic tonight on heart health, but it also deals with Fucoidan, dealing with your immune system. Lyndon Glenn wanted to know what's a good combination of products for someone that's about to go through radiation, something that will help build up their immune system and also protect them.
You can prime prime the immune system with OPC, aloe red, and fucoidan. Rating immune system enhancement, be fucoidan number 1, aloe red number 2, OPC number 3. But those are prime, they prime the immune system. They make the T cells, B cells, and natural killer cells, the white blood cells, the things that are most proficient for better health. They work better.
Well, good. Okay, well, a great call. I know we still got questions coming in. I know Paul and Sonia, again, wanted to know about sea salt compared to table salt.
It's better than table salt because most table salt's junk. Most of it is junk science.
Okay, well, good. All right, we appreciate you, Dr. Rouse. A good call tonight. Look for some more calls on medical studies.
Okay.
And we appreciate you. And everyone, thanks again for being on the call, and we look forward to seeing everyone next time. Good night, everyone. God bless.
God bless. Bye-bye.